Welcome to the Babylon 5 Alliance. My name is Eric Rupp, and I am your host. On today's show, we are going to be talking about Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and where they've gone wrong, and what they can do to right the ship. In the beginning, Marvel came out of the gate just flying. Iron Man was a huge hit, a great movie. It was everything that a comic book superhero movie should be. It was fun, it was exciting, had some great special effects. It was a fantastic movie. Marvel had set the tone. What they were doing was giving individual movies their own unique styles, and the movies were very character-driven. You had a narcissist egomaniac in Iron Man, this careless playboy who just does whatever he wants without any worries about consequences, and he has a near-death experience that wakes him up and makes him see what life is really all about and what responsibilities he has. It's a very personal movie, very down to earth. You had The Incredible Hulk, which was this tragic Jekyll and Hyde story about a man desperate to cure himself of what he sees essentially as a horrible disease. Then you had Thor, which was a Shakespearean fish out of water story. Captain America the First Avenger, a World War II movie. Captain America the Winter Soldier, a political action thriller. Then you had Ant-Man, which was basically a heist movie like your Ocean's movies. Guardians of the Galaxy took him out into space as a science fiction Star Wars type movie. So each movie had its own thing going on. They were all unique in their styles, and they all focused on character first. What we've seen recently is that the movies have become almost interchangeable. You're looking at Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Thor, Love and Thunder, Ant-Man, Quantumania. They're all similar, very, very similar in styles. They're all big, overblown, just huge messes of movies. Each movie is a mess, narratively. And the thing is, each one of them is more focused on plot, the overall story, than it is the characters. They have become to where the characters are almost interchangeable with very little writing. Or should I say rewriting? With very little rewriting, you could switch around the characters in each of those movies, and they would work. That's why Marvel and Kevin Feige have really lost the plot. They're putting out product. They're not putting out great movies. They're not putting out stories about characters. They're putting out movies that fit into the MCU's big umbrella. And that's where they've gone wrong. They have gotten so interconnected, and they're so worried about everything working together in this big overarching story that they've forgotten to make each individual movie unique. They've forgotten about the individual characters that people fell in love with. People loved Tony Stark. People loved Thor. People loved Ant-Man. They liked these characters, the characters they liked. And the MCU really started going wrong with Civil War, which should have been a movie that focused on Captain America, Steve Rogers, and his friend Bucky Barnes, became this big overblown Avengers movie. Now, it's not a bad movie at all. It's a good movie. It's just nowhere near as good as The Winter Soldier, and it is not a Captain America movie. It is just as much an Iron Man movie as it is a Captain America movie. It's just as much an Avengers movie as it is a Captain America movie. And that's where the MCU really, really started to go wrong. Now, they've had some missteps along the way. Iron Man 3 was not a great movie. It was okay. Captain Marvel, an unfortunate choice of lead actress and not a very good script. Some continuity errors within the MCU. And you think about that. Within the MCU, they're trying to make these things all interconnected, and yet they make this movie that has continuity errors with the rest of the MCU. So it's just, they've been failing in a lot of ways in the recent movies. The first couple of waves of the Marvel movies were fantastic. Since then, it's been hit or miss. And if they want the Marvel movies to get back to being $250 to $400 million blockbusters in the U.S., then they're going to have to get back to what made Marvel work. Kevin, are you listening? Keep it focused on the characters. Keep the stories about the characters. Make them smaller in scale. Not every movie has to be fate of the world stuff, or worse yet, fate of the universe. They need to be about people. people that, hey, those of us that buy movie tickets like to go see. We want to see these movies if we like the characters. But we're not going to see these big overblown movies that we've already seen a half dozen times or a dozen times now. We need to get back to character-driven, smaller scale stories. And guess what, Kevin? Those movies will be cheaper to make, thus more profitable. Marvel really needs to get a clue. And I don't know if the problem is with Kevin Feige per se or with his bosses at Disney, but Marvel really has lost the plot, and that's where the problem is. They need to get back to making the movies that the movie-going audiences fell in love with 15 years ago. They've got an opportunity to do that. They can make this happen, but they need to get back in the business of making movies that are smaller scale and about the character first. So that's it. Short video today. Just wanted to go over that rant as we've seen the Marvels come out and flop after we've seen some disappointing box office numbers from other Marvel movies and DC movies. DC, that's a whole other ball of wax. That's oh boy, that's a mess. And maybe James Gunn gets that fixed, maybe he doesn't. But Marvel had it together, and they lost it. And they can get it back. They can do it. It's just, are we going to get business people making business decisions, or are we going to get people that are filmmakers making movies that are good in terms of character development and story? That's what we need to see, and hopefully we get it. All right, well, again, my name's Eric Rupp. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.